Good morning and welcome to Dominion Television, your channel of choice. Happy Independence Day to everyone watching us right now across the world. We wish you happy Independence Day in Nigeria at 65. And trust us, we have so much to talk about in the world of sport, especially Nigerian sport. How far has it gone at 65 years down the line? We'll be discussing that on the show this morning. This is Dominion Sport, where we give you everything trending in the world of sport. I am Paul Abe Toluwanimi, and I have the expert analyst himself, Samson Balogun, the man with unbiased analysis and undiluted report. With me this morning, we'll be discussing everything sport on the show. Samson, good morning to you.
Well, top of the morning to you, Tolu, and it's really nice to be here. 1st of October, 2025.
2025, yeah.
You know, away from 1960, 65 years apart, talking sport on a day like this. And I do feel like as much as people want to talk about other infrastructures and some other things, economy that affects Nigeria, it's also pertinent that we talk about sports too.
True.
And how far have we evolved in 65 years of Nigerian sports landscape. I do feel we have been running in circles in the last 65 years.
I agree.
And you know, it's still not where we expect it to be. I'm not saying we have not done, you know, a bit in the last 65 years, but I just felt like, you know, we can always do better. It's one thing to do things the right way and still fall short. Yes, that is normal. Failures are bound to happen. And if you do it the right way and then you fall short, you know you are going back to the drawing board and then you do it again.
I agree.
And then you know definitely one day results will come. And there's other way, on the flip side, you know, there's another thing about doing it the wrong way and maybe getting a flash in the pan kind of result you would, you know, some people are saying right now. And then eventually you go back to factory settings, which is what we saw yesterday when, you know, the Nigerian team slumped to Ghana, 2 goals to nothing. I mean, it's just a piece of my mind. I think we have not really done well. We have not really done well. If you talk about the how football and of course sport has evolved in Nigeria, since Nigeria gained independence, I think that was 1957 or thereabouts. We had, it was boxing. 57 to 60s, it was boxing making waves. I think that was when Organ Kid Bassi was making waves, and then with that time we also had the Tiger, who was also making waves. I think that was around 1960 to 1965. He was doing fantastically well. That was boxing. And when it came to the 70s, football started gaining prominence. And then down to the 80s and then 90s, and then football faded off until we started having, you know, some sort of what we would call once a while kind of success recently. But the truth of the matter is, we could have just set a template since 1960 that still works to today. But one thing I have known that has always been the problem: we only prepare for contingencies. Oh, let's say, for example, there's a challenge. Let's fix it now.
Fix it now.
How about the long-term project? Countries are doing it. Take, for example, we saw what Senegal did in the last 10 years. It was a process. They brought Aliou Cissé. Aliou Cissé told them, look, if you really want to win something, you have to give me time. And Aliou Cissé was in charge for some time, and most definitely, before Aliou Cissé was what you call a nationwide project, football development project, sporting development projects that produced the likes of Crepin Diatta and the other Kalidou Koulibaly, and then those were the ones that eventually won Senegal the African Cup of Nations under Aliou Cissé. That was a project. That was a 10-year project spanning a period of time, and then it happened. Why can't we do the same in Nigeria? Unfortunately, we'll start a project. We had Vision 2020, and even before 2020, the vision died. We had Vision 2025. Before 2025, the vision died. There's always a vision, but unfortunately, there is no. We do not have the clear eyesight to
execute the vision.
To execute the vision. So it's just always like that. Before you know it, there is a vision that has been built by someone. Someone else comes on board, sweeps it under the carpet, starts his own agenda. Will never be able to finish it.
Someone else comes on board again. It's not going to continue the agenda.
They are never going to. There's nothing like that. Nobody continues anything in Nigeria. True. And then you realize the fact that you are only running in circles. No success will come. You only see flash in the pan, just like we are saying now. This year, let's say for example, since 2005 that Nigeria won the under-20 tournament, has it happened again? No. Now calculate 2005 to today. This is 2025. That's 20 years. That's a huge margin. That's a wide gap. Are you saying we do not have talents that can execute that and get that done for the country? No. But the truth of the matter is, when it comes to selection process, which you asked me before now, when it comes to selection process, they might make it all good for you. you know, in front of the camera, but there is a lot of kind of worms behind the scenes. Things that if people get to hear them, you'll begin to wonder, what exactly are we doing? It still happens in Nigeria that some players and their agents will pay their way into the team just for them to be showcased on the world scene, on the African scene, and then boom, they sign a contract in Europe. It's not because of Nigerians, it's because of the agent who wants to make more money. So he's looking for an avenue to actually get it done. Take, for example, there was a time, the English Premier League, if you are ever bringing a player to the English Premier League, such player must have work experience from where he's coming from. And, you know, that's when you see some agents, you know, planting some players at some football clubs, and some went as far as putting them in the national team. So once they play 2-3 games, I don't want to mention names, but then once they play 2-3 games, they become marketable to the you know, to the EPL teams and even Spanish La Liga teams. And this has continued to happen. It still happens till today. Still happening. Where do we go from here as a country? It's been 65 years. Yeah. Should we still continue to do this? Unfortunately, that's not the best way to go. Can we change things? Yes, absolutely. I believe in that. But do we have people with the willpower, with the political will to get things done? I do not believe we do have them right now. But I know that we have a lot of people around that can get it done. Some have clamored for ex-internationals to come and you know, get things done. Some have clamored for you know, football experts. That we should have football experts, sporting experts around the country to get things done. But unfortunately, when they get there, what happens? You know, it's just the usual business. It's just always like that. Recently, some people are saying, oh, Austin J.J. Okocha should come and be the FA chairman. So person should come and do this. Remember, he had to leave, you know, the sporting association in his own state because he was frustrated out. Some people are saying, look, you cannot be running sports the way you are running sports here now. There is a way we do it. And he's saying, look, I have the money. As long as I have the money, I can inject some funds into this. Let's get things done the right way. But some people were frustrated that because the money was coming from J.J. Okocha, no corruption will be involved. But if the money is coming from the state government, there is a way everybody sits down. It's a like this that everyone, yes, you share. It's just like cake. You put it on the table and let everybody take their 1 quarter, 2 quarter, and then go. So that's why most people, have you seen Segun Odegbami, you know, win any election as the FA chairman or anything? No, he will not win. People like that who have great ideas and can get things done will never be saddled with the responsibility of leading the Nigerian sports sector. Why? Because there will be no corruption. Because these people know their onions. They know exactly what to do. And as long as it is going to be like that, people who are already in the system will not let you come on board. So anytime you are coming, you will be voted against, not voted for. See, for every corruption that happens, it's not just about the technocrats being brought on board. No technocrat, nobody comes into the system and knows exactly what to do unless people who were already in the system instigate them and tells them, look, these are the loopholes. This is where you can make money. Let's do it this way. And unfortunately, if you still want to remain in that office, you might want to play games if you don't have principles. And for people who have principles, who have ideas and knows exactly what their names, they struggled for so many years to build that name. So they don't want to be soiled. So as much as they would want to, you know, say, oh, let's be a part of this, they still think about, oh, this is legacy I have built. Am I just going to throw it under the carpet in one night? So that's why you see some people step away. And as they are stepping away, they are bringing in a form of treating Nigerian sport with ends of levity. And it will always come to a stage where nothing will happen. I will also say this very quickly. If you look at the sporting sector, or let's say club-side football generally, in Nigeria as we speak, there are a lot of loopholes. Thankfully, we are seeing some of these holes being plugged. We are seeing greatness, and we are seeing light at the end of the tunnel. When we talk about Nigerian sports, especially football clubs, now springing up and saying, look, we want to do it differently. Take, for example, Barao FC, you know, owned by a politician, yes, but is it being done the right way? Somehow, they are getting there. We don't expect them to do it overnight. Look at Ikorodu City, they are doing exceptionally well. Remo Stars doing fine. Even some state-owned clubs that usually used to be pushovers when it comes to branding, when it comes to marketing, when it comes to being accountable, they are now getting better. So, for example, Shooting Stars came out and say, oh, for this home game, we made so amount of money. They don't need to tell you how much they made. But the number of tickets sold gives you an idea of, oh, they made so amount. So do the math yourself. You know, this is what we are saying. We have sold 5,000 tickets. So VIPs, so VVIPs, and so regular. So if you do the calculation, you know, oh, they made about 8 million on this match day. Is 8 million not enough to foot the bill for a match day? That's way more than enough. That means without the support of the state government, if they keep getting it right, and they are getting results, and people are trooping in their numbers to watch games, automatically that football club can stand alone.
I agree.
Without the intervention of the government.
I agree.
But how many football clubs in Nigeria will get it to that extent? Now, that's just football. Because football has huge followers.
Yeah.
How about people who play hockey? How about people who do baseball, handball, basketball, which is not widely recognized in Nigeria and not generally accepted? What happens to them? So the government will still have to invest in these sports. And we have not really done any investment. We are expecting results. Nothing will happen. How many basketball courts do we have in Ibadan? I've always said this. How many baseball courts do we have in Ibadan? How many of that do we have in Lagos? Yes, Lagos State government, I think recently we are beginning to see some pitch sides, small pitches around Lagos, yeah. And then you are beginning to, oh, there is hope for, young players who want to test their mettle, get things done. But then, can we also invest in other sports too? Like a sports complex. You don't need a football pitch there. Just a five-a-side football pitch, and then there's a basketball court, baseball court. Let people come.
You have a tennis area.
A tennis area. That's on just 2 plots of land, you can do so many things. So if those things are readily available, must I get to Adama Singba Stadium, Liberty Stadium, when I stay at Oludu before I have somewhere to train as an athlete? No. How about weightlifting? There are people who do this too. So there are so many sports, and there are so many talented people in Nigeria that are actually doing this. But do we give them the necessary support? After 65 years, are we there? I don't think so.
All right. So quick one, Samson, and everybody listening right now. After 65 years, are we there at this point in time when it comes to Nigerian sport as a whole? I'm going to lie to you, Samson. You have said so much. And the question next in my mind is, how do we now ship out? Because right now, we need to go back to the roots. Now, we need to now, walk back the system again. So how do we walk back the system without having this set of people, running this system? Because the truth be told, Samson, most of those people that are coming into the sector and the world of sports in Nigeria, they are either a push from, one person telling them or one person putting them in office. So how do we first clear out this, bandwagon and bring in the new ship? And how are we sure that this new ship, we're about to start off again, how are we sure that they are ready to also put something, to paddle up straight and catapult Nigerian sport to a global stage?
Well, the first thing to do, Tolu, is to unbundle the Nigerian sports system. When I say unbundle, it's all forms of bureaucracy be removed. All forms of bureaucracy be removed, and everyone empowered illegally to act on behalf of Nigerians when it comes to sports should be sent out of office. Now, what do I mean by that? We've got associations for every sport in the country. Every one of them has a chairman, and then that's at federal level. Even at state level, so there's a president, there's a chairman.
There's an office for everybody.
There's an office. But do they really have offices? Let me ask you this question. The chairman for Badminton Federation in Oyo State, where's his office? You don't know. The chairman for handball, everyone, they have a chairman. They have presidents. What exactly are they doing? Are they being well funded? That's the question. Now, let's now go back to the 1980s, when footballers were discovered where they should be discovered. Not because someone brought them, because they were discovered. There was a wide scouting network in the country then. Let me cite an instance. Nigeria won its first African Cup of Nations, led by Segun Odegbami and Christian Chukwu. That was in 1980. And when you look at the setup of that team, they are made up of mostly players, not necessarily playing for a football club, but players who were playing fantastic football, even at secondary schools. The late Stephen Keshi, for example, was discovered where? In a school. So I think that was St. Finbar's College in Lagos at the time. So they were discovered. Stephen Okechukwu, Erin Wusu. These are people, fantastic players that were discovered at one point or the other. Well, some of them might be playing local football at the time, but they were discovered because they knew how to do it, not because someone liked them or someone wanted to sponsor them, but because they had what to bring to the table, they had what to offer. Now, we will now go back to that space. Let's go back to the wide scouting network we do. Why must we want to recruit for the under-17 and we ask every player to come to Abuja? How many players can afford to go to Abuja for screenings? That is one. Why must we want to recruit for the under-20 and say, oh, every player, if you know you want to play football, come to Port Harcourt? I mean, that for me. It should be a regional thing. Why can't we scout in Ibadan, scout in Lagos, scout in, Ibadan, give us 10 players. Lagos, give us 10 players. And then after that, it will be regional again. Aside from state scouting, it will now be regional. In the region, all the selected players in the southwestern states, all the 6 southwest, let's go to, let's say, Lagos. Come to Lagos, come and show us what you know how to do. Out of the whole 60, let's pick 10. And then after the regional, you bring them to the national level. Then out of all these, from all regions, all the 6 geopolitical zones, that means you still have 60. Out of the 60, then you can select your 35 players. And within that 35 players, when you are going for the tournament, you can now prune it down to the best set of legs. That was how it was being done there. But now, you only bring the recruitment to one section of the country. And then that is all you will ever be able to see. So as long as we do it that way, we'll get these results. Look at what happened yesterday. I'm not really a fan of selecting who qualifies for the World Cup, under 20 World Cup through WAFB or whatever tournament. Yeah. I mean, that's pretty unfair on the teams who did not get to qualify for WAFB. Why not throw it open, just like the African Cup of Nations qualifiers for the main team? Let's play qualifiers. And if you qualify, fine. WAFB should be a tournament on its own. Because it was more or less like some teams being disenfranchised. I'm not sorry to say it. I think CAF still has a lot to learn from other countries. I agree. This pattern is not being used in Europe. So all these archaic lifestyle, all these archaic styles are still being adopted, and we hold it so there in Africa like that's the order of the day. The Wego rule since about 2 years ago is no longer active in Europe. So why is it that African countries are still so hell-bent on being on the Wego rule? The home and away CAF Champions League or Confederations Cup final is still being used in Africa. When was the last time that was done in Europe, America, or anywhere in the world? So it's a challenge that can be surmounted. We can always get past it. Now we'll go back to the drawing board. And when I say going back to the drawing board, not as usual. We really want to scratch beyond the surface this time around. Let's go back to how we started it and then build on what we started. Because over time, we veered away from the norm and started doing things the way we want it to be. How about doing it the way it should be? So individuals who have ideas can now come on board and say, look, this is my own idea. And that does not mean because you are the chairman, you think you are the omni-knowest. Just like some people in quotes, just like some people will say, you know it all. No, Obasabi, they always kill.
Yeah, true.
And if you think you know too much, you don't have any business leading. True. You don't have any business being the chairman or president of any football or sporting association anywhere around the world. Because your role is to seek the opinion of every member of the cabinet. Let's come together. What's the best idea in doing this? But then you just see someone coming. There was a time Toby Amoson complained about something, and then the chairman, Athletic Federation of Nigeria, came out and said, look, this is this is that. His statement, statement after that, reeked of his personal opinion. I mean, that's not an association speech. Nobody came together and said that. It was his own opinion he was giving out. And that's not the way to go. There's always a room as a president or the chairman to say, look, this is my opinion. But then, at that situation, at that time, it should be the FA addressing, or it should be the Athletic Federation addressing the issue, and not the president addressing it himself.
Even through the media.
Through the media, not you.
Not you, I agree.
So it's a lot to handle. We have bastardized the football ecosystem, and I think we can get better and we can get it done.
All right, come on. If I allow the man with unbiased analysis continue, trust me, we're gonna spend the whole day talking about Nigerian sport at 6 to 5. But tomorrow we're gonna have some expert analysts also join us on the show, via Zoom call, or if they're available, they're gonna be in the studio. We're gonna look at that sector broadly to see how far we can help the sport in Nigeria go forward, because it's gonna be a good one if we see Nigeria on the global stage, also competing amidst the European scene. Let's move away from that and still on the local front this wonderful morning. Let's see what's happening between Rivers United against Niger Tornadoes. There you have it on the screen already. It's going to be a big game. Is the match day 6 fixture. Remember, Rivers United had CAF Champions League qualifier Banjo. Joliba. Yes, Joliba is the club side they faced right there. But they have a game today by 4 p.m. against Niger Tornadoes. It's going to be a big one for Coach Finidi George. Let's look at what the table is looking like for these two teams ahead of this clash right there today. Let's look at what the table is looking like ahead of this clash today. We can have that displayed quickly. Yes, there you have it. Rivers United are sitting on the log of a table, sixth.
Currently fifth.
Fifth, all right, yes, fifth on the log of the table right there, and MPFL standing, and Niger Tornadoes also are sitting third on the log of the table. So it's going to be a big one, especially a point difference. And for Niger Tornadoes, how do you see this one between these two teams? If Rivers United are able to pick up all 3 points, they're going to go up straight. It's going to be 11 points. They're going to be sitting on top of the log table on third position. Who needs it more between Rivers United or Niger Tornadoes?
I think it's going to be Rivers United who needs it more, and unfortunately they have to be in this situation because they are playing on the continent, and some of their games will now be played as what we call outstanding match, and that's just one of it. This was meant to have been played over the weekend, and Niger Tornadoes will have an edge because they are well rested.
I agree.
And for Rivers United, they played the game over the weekend, and then they will still have to play today. So it's not really fair on them, but unfortunately, there is a rule that says you can play 2 games in a week, at least every 3 days. So they're still within the purview of the Football Association to see if they want to go ahead, and they are going ahead as scheduled. For Niger Tornadoes, they are ahead, especially in terms of points. On the log, they are on 9 points, and they are third on the log, while Rivers United are fifth.
But all 3 points will take them also, maybe still sitting third on the position.
Depending on how many number of
goals they score.
If they get more than 2 goals, that means it takes them above Eyimba Football Club on that second spot on the log. Nasarawa United still sits firmly as the team leading on the log after 16 plays. So for Rivers United, I think they have a lot to prove. And this is a chance for them to prove that playing in on the continent really does not affect them. And when a season starts, especially for a serious team, they don't even know how far they will go on the continent. So they have to pay attention to what happens in the league, close attention to what happens in the league. Because if you really want to maintain that spot, play again on the continent next time, you have to finish well. Because you are not sure you are going to win the continental tournament, so which will make you qualify automatically. So it's a challenge for Rivers United. It's a must-win for them against Niger Tornadoes. But unfortunately for Rivers United, it's a must-win for Niger Tornadoes.
So also, yes, so it's going
in good form. So it's going to be a very big clash between these two teams. And I by assumption, Rivers United might be thinking, we have 2 games outstanding. They have only played 4, while some teams have played 6
already.
And that means that if they play their next 2 games and they win, I mean, their outstanding games, that will place them on 14th on the log, takes them straight to the top of the table. But you cannot bank on points that you have not really won. So they have to fight for every battle tooth and nail to win all 3 points today. And if that happens, takes them to a respectable place on the log, and then they wait for the next game. So if they really want to compete favorably, they have to start winning games, especially the outstanding games.
All right, let's say that one pounds out for Rivers United against Niger Tornadoes. The game is by 4 p.m. and trust us, we'll be giving you the result after the game tomorrow on the show. Let's move away from that. Let's talk the boys. Yes, the Golden Eaglets. Ghana beat the Golden Eaglets 2-0 to qualify for 2026 FIFA Under-17 AFCON. The Ghana Black Stars, Ghana Black Starlet have advanced to the final of the WAFU Zone B Under-17 Championship after defeating Golden Eaglets of Nigeria 2-0 in the semi-final on Tuesday. This victory means Ghana have secured qualification for the 2026 Under-17 AFCON in Morocco. Michael Awali opened scoring in the 21st minute, 10 minutes after this goal scored. Robinho, Yao Gavi got a score sheet to make it 2-0. To reach the last 4 of the regional competition, the Golden Eaglets topped their group that has been with Benin Republic and Burkina Faso. The coach Manu Gabal side trashed Benin Republic 4 goals and drew goalless to Burkina Faso. In other semi-final also played out Tuesday, Host Cote d'Ivoire edged out Burkina Faso 2-0 to seal qualification for the next year Under-17 AFCON. So it's not looking too good for the Golden Eaglets. But questions are very worrying at this point in time. I'm just going to ask you, why do CAF run zonal qualifiers for Under-17 and Under-20 men, and not for Under-17 and Under-20 women or the senior team?
You see, it's when I was talking the other time, I was mentioning the fact that even CAF sometimes they second-guess themselves on what to do and what not to do. I don't think they are a serious body as we speak. Unfortunately, African teams are subjected to CAF, so they have to submit. You know, sometimes when someone who doesn't really, I mean, you are traveling and whoever is leading you or driving does not even know where you are going.
I agree.
So it takes you to wherever you don't want to be, but unfortunately that's where he knows.
True.
So that's the situation with CAF right now. They are really inconsistent. They have been inconsistent for the last few years. I begin to wonder, even it wasn't this worse under Issa Hayatou. While Issa Hayatou was chairman, sometimes when there were outcries about how things are being done, a few changes were made. But for Patrick Motsepe, it has been a straitjacket in this is how we want to do it, and so some things are being affected, and this actually helps. Now let me break it down. The current situation helps some teams with a strong local league.
I agree.
The Nigerian league might be big to some people. For me, it's a weak league when we talk about top leagues in Africa. So, for South Africa, majority of their players that play in the national team, about 80% of them play in South Africa. So, if they are playing competitions like for AFUB and the likes, or whatever competition, for African players based in Africa, they are always going to have the upper hand. But if this is unbundled, let's play the general qualifying series. Let's qualify from different zones. Then you see that other countries will compete. But now when you look at this, even in Ghana, some of their players, they play in Ghana. How many Nigerian players play regularly in the Nigerian national team? Even if one place manages to enter the team, maybe through straight or crooked means, you see them flying to Europe the next day. So it's a problem that we have too much talent in Nigeria to be in this situation. And what happened yesterday was an aberration, shouldn't have happened. Lost 2-0 to Ghana. I mean, that's so bad. I really wish they put up a fight bigger than what they did, but unfortunately, they could not. You cannot give what you don't have. They could not give more than that, and that's an insult to the Nigerian Football Federation. It's an insult to the league. It's an insult to the players that went there, and it's an insult to the coach. And I do believe that going forward, as we have always said, that changes will be made. Players will be selected the right way. The right coach will be saddled with the responsibility of coaching the team. We have always said this, and I do hope that one day they are going to take to this advice and not, continue to embarrass the Nigerian people on the African scene.
All right, so just a few questions before we move on to the next story, the Champions League. As something I'm seeing comments here from the game yesterday. Somebody saying you send a player to junior national team, and you tell them to bring 5 million to 10 million naira. This is the result. Now, also another person is saying, paddy government make una continue. Now, another person is saying the qualification format is not helping at all. This WAFU zone as the best African youth teams, and we always let them meet and eliminate each other. Under 20 is ongoing, and no African side has won a match in both the first and also the second round, it is really sad. Now, somebody also say Emmanuel Amunike is the best under 17 coach for the Golden Eaglet. More comments. Somebody saying partially in the selection of players. So, with this comment, it looks like this is the result that we are getting at this point in time. Do you agree with this comment? Paddy governments, their players buying their way into the team, paying 5 million, 10 million naira. This Wafu Zombie selection is not helping the process at all. Do you agree with this comment from the fans?
You see, for every lie, there's an iota of truth. And there is no fire without smoke.
I agree.
So, whoever is, posting their comments must have heard something or seen something. You see, I said something earlier that we've got too much talent, way too much talent in Nigeria, to be embarrassed that way. So, meaning that maybe the selection process can be trusted, and maybe the coach also has to be fingered as regards what exactly happened. This is not the first time that we have heard of coaches, Nigerian coaches, for example. I think Salisu Yusuf was a victim of that. If he was a victim, fine. And if he was a culprit, yes, we will take it that way. That some players have to pay their way into his team at the time. So it's not new.
Even Samson Siasa also got the report of that.
So it's I think it's a thing with Africa. I don't want to say African coaches. Let me say Nigerian coaches. And it's not new. It's not new. It's a challenge, and some players really have backings. They have money bags that can actually sponsor them. Now, you have too many players to pick from. And out of the many players, about 100 of them, some of them are saying, look, coach, at least this player can actually play a little bit. Coach, if you take me to this tournament, or maybe the agents comes and say, if you take this player to the tournament, I'm giving you 10 million. And a coach that knows that if he gets sacked today, you are owing him about 6 months in wages and emoluments,
and
he's never going to get it. He's never going to get it. So, what do you expect? He looks at the offer. He looks at the offer and feels like, I think this is the best opportunity for me. There was a time I was talking to a friend that said, look, sometimes when an indigenous coach gets a job with the Nigerian Football Federation, he has worked his way up the ladder that has gotten to a stage where they say, oh, let's compensate him. So it's coaching roles has now been turned to compensation to some people. This is your time to make money. And those monies are not just going to the coach. If 5 players or 10 players put in 10 million naira, that's about 50 to 100 million. Maybe it takes 20 million naira and then some other people share the money. I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying that's the idea of what these comments are talking about. And we cannot move forward in such a way. You see, corruption does not help anybody. Corruption kills. Corruption incapacitates a system. True. Corruption cripples the system.
It cripples the
and
system.
Corruption makes it worse.
It makes it worse because
than it used to be.
This is a sign of corruption because there's no way forward. There's nothing happening with the boys in Chile. We are still looking like we're the same peg goal at this point in time. So it's
now some people will be watching and say, oh, you've been talking about corruption, you've been saying this. So if you get the opportunity, would you have done better? I can say, for example, that I will do better, and I will say why. You see, one thing is lacking when you look at the football setup in Nigeria now. Up till the 90s, mid-90s, maybe to 1995, okay, 96, the Atlanta 96, there was patriotism. From the players to the coach to the management to everyone, even to the groundsmen, everyone wanted to work for the national team because they love seeing the Nigerian team. When you see the green, white, green, you are always pushed to work. You are always pushed to support. Does it happen now? I don't think so. I think that has been watered down. It goes watered down when you don't even know what national anthem you are going to recite, and some people came to the team. The national anthem is being played. They don't even know what did that. So how do you get inspired or motivated to play for the team? I mean, a lot is wrong. A lot is wrong, and I think we can always do better.
All right, come on. It's when we talk about Nigerian sport right here on Dominion Sports, it's always a long and intensive and extensive, conversation. We just always want the best for Nigerian sport. Let's move away from that. Let's look at the Champions League night of football. Yesterday goes. We are talking 33 goals in total yesterday in match day 2, right there of the UEFA Champions League. Can we have the result? There you have it on the screen. Yesterday, Atlanta looking like a team who were not going to pick up the victory. Went ahead to win 2-1. The Galacticos against a Cariat side, 5-0. Kylian Mbappe's back-to-back goals, 60 goals in the UEFA Champions League for Kylian Mbappe. And also Atletico Madrid, Diego Simeone looks like a man in good form after the victory against Madrid, 5-0. And Julian Alvarez is looking like a man who is set to do something fantastic, and also getting a report that is going to make a move to FC Barcelona, but it's just beyond the report. Also, Bodo Glimt, yes, we're not able to get all 3 points against Tottenham Hotspur. Thomas Frank had to pull that one through, and they had a draw in that one, 2-2 draw. Chelsea welcomed Jose Mourinho back to the Stamford Bridge. But trust me, an own goal by Rios gave Chelsea that victory. Also, we have Galatasaray Victor Osimhen also getting on the score sheet against Liverpool right there on the spot kick. That makes Victor Osimhen is the first ever Nigerian player to score 10 goals in UEFA Champions League proper. That's a fantastic one for the Nigerian number 9. Also, it's not looking too good for Slot right there. We'll be discussing that on the show. Also, Inter Milan against Slavia Prague. The game ended 3-0. Lautaro Martinez getting on the score sheet, and also, trust me, Roberto De Zerbi is doing something fantastic with Olympique Marseille. That game ended 4-0. Mason Greenwood, also Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang getting on the score sheet right there. And we have Bayern Munich against Pavos. Harry Kane still getting on the goal. And finally, the man from Chelsea on loan, Nicholas Jackson, getting his first goal and assist right there for Bayern Munich. Let's look at more, pictures being displayed as we discuss the game. Quick one, we're just going to discuss about Liverpool's situation at this point in time. The next game is going to be with Chelsea. And also we're going to discuss Chelsea too with the indiscipline problem on that side. Let's start with Liverpool. They lost against Crystal Palace. Now they lost against another team. There you have it on the screen, Galatasaray. The next game is going to be Chelsea. What is the situation with Arne Slot at this point in time?
Well, I think the problem is that they have been found, and that's a problem. I feel Arne Slot is a kind of coach that understands defensive discipline, and he should be able to turn things around defensively. It's not like they are not playing. Agree. It's not like they are not playing, but unfortunately they have been conceding goals. And when you look at how Liverpool plays this season, they have it's not like they have scored too many goals. Yeah. They have been struggling too. But the fact that they were consistent with their 1 goal, 2 goals, 2 goals to 1,
and coming from behind,
so people have trusted them beyond their capacity this season, and they have been found out. It's crystal clear. You actually said it yesterday.
Yeah. You said it yesterday.
So the truth now is they are playing Chelsea, another team that has been found out, and the coach is really getting it from when it comes to selection. And of course, they are going to be playing against the Chelsea team that the coach doesn't even know exactly what is going on.
Who is disciplined, who is not disciplined at this point in time.
Injuries also has also caught up with Chelsea. Right now, Joao Pedro is red carded. And Nicholas Jackson is away at Bayern Munich.
There's a certain Maguire that cannot play a Premier League game because it's going to. So come on, man.
So it's a challenge. I don't see Chelsea being a tough test for Liverpool. That's where I'm going. So
okay.
Chelsea is not a tough test for Liverpool. So it's going to be another usual Chelsea-Liverpool game you would see. Now, away from there, there were other games that were played in the UEFA Champions League. Quickly. And you see Inter Milan cruising to a 3-0 victory. And you also see, for example, you see Chelsea defeating Benfica. Jose Mourinho's return for the first time in a long time. 1-0. It wasn't even Chelsea that scored. They helped them score, and they could not score their own goal until they got recorded. So it's a lot to handle for Chelsea. It's a challenge, and I feel like we should just move past that one. Atalanta, from a goal down, eventually was able to win 2-1. I mean, that's massive result for them. They struggled a little bit in the absence of Ademola Lookman. He's back in the team, and then I think they are beginning to get the team back to what he used to be. And also Marseille defeating Ajax 4-0. I mean, Ajax definitely will be one of the whipping boys in the UEFA Champions League.
I agree with that statement.
Because they are, even in their whole league, they have not really been consistent. Ajax, PSV, whatever happens to them, I don't think it's the right thing. One thing I noticed is that they turned the team to a business venture.
True.
So majority of their key players were sold. And after being sold, what happened?
No replacement.
No replacement. And when they replaced you, they could not get
not up to
the
par.
best set of legs. So they got some players. But the truth is, it will not be this season. Probably next season, these players will get better and better, and then they will have a better team.
I wanted to ask you, if you watched Victor Osimhen yesterday, he showed a man that, you know, proper fitness. He was ready to bully the boys and back. Van Dijk, you know, Victor Osimhen showed strength with, you know, Liverpool side.
You see, Victor Osimhen's quality as a striker, as a forward, let me put it that way, is never in doubt. He's a kind of striker that, you know, always ready to go anytime, any day. But unfortunately, you see, indiscipline can actually ruin a player's career. Osimhen should not be a Galatasaray player right now, if not for the outburst.
Everybody's saying that.
If not for the outburst he had with Finidi George at the time. You know, nobody wants to bring a toxic player into their already settled camp. I mean, you know, you can imagine Liverpool bringing Osimhen into a team that has not had issues in the last 5-6 years. You can imagine that kind of toxicity is going to bring on board if it does bring it on board. But unfortunately, nobody will trust you that it was just a one-off thing, that you are a disciplined player. You cannot, how many people will you explain to? So you go explain tired. That's what he's doing right now.
But evidence
you only continue to play.
But evidence
you go they explain.
But evidence they.
Evidence they say you day online and you were shouting.
But evidence they say I they give my team 3 points.
Yeah, 3 points. Yeah, 3 points, but it's not. See, for the white, we can talk about Africa. Results matters in Africa.
Honestly,
even the whites care about results.
Honestly,
but for them, especially in Europe, it's not just about what you do on the field of play. What you do off it also matters to them. And that's the challenge.
We can mention players.
You can see how many times Rooney had issues with Sir Alex Ferguson before he calmed down.
Even David Beckham
was kicked out of it. So you cannot be a toxic player in the team, and you cannot be a stubborn one. You must listen to instruction at all times. And he definitely did not show that when he had, you know, the outburst with Philip.
Honestly speaking, I wish I had time. I really wanted to sit down on this discussion with Samson Balogun with this Victor Osimhen situation. But I hope we can have time to discuss that later, you know, more on the show. Let's look at the games for today in the Champions League. I'll wrap up the show for today. Let's just have the fixtures coming up for today right there in the Champions League. We can have it on the screen. There you have it. We're going to have Karabag against Copenhagen. We're going to have Union Galois against Newcastle. Arsenal, yes, with the contract extension of William Saliba. They're going to have Olympiacos, the Emirates, Borussia Dortmund against Athletic Club. It's going to be a big one. FC Barcelona against Paris Saint-Germain. That's going to be a big game tonight. Bayern Leverkusen against PSV. Monaco. Ansu Fati is finally getting his form back. 4 goals already this season against Manchester City. That's a big game. Also, Napoli are going to welcome Sporting CP. It's going to be Villarreal and also the old ladies of Turin. Juventus. Samson Balogun, for you, Paris Saint-Germain against FC Barcelona, you look at the players not available for this game. Desire Doué, Ousmane Dembele, Vitinha, you know, you can go on and on for the players not available for this game against Barcelona. How do you see this one between Hansi Flick and the former manager of FC Barcelona, Luis Enrique? Quickly.
Well, it's going to be a tough test for Paris Saint-Germain. They are going to play against Barcelona in Spain, and that's going to be a really difficult test for Paris, especially when missing, you know, some key players. But then, you know, missing some players doesn't really water down the quality of the team. What I have seen him do this season is that they have not really relied on a single player, especially from last season. They have not really relied on a single player. They still have Goncalo Ramos in that team, who is a top striker, and there are so many other players too in the team. So it might be difficult, but then they still stand a chance of grinding out a result in Barcelona.
All right, that's all we can take. Samson Balogun, I don't know why people are not ready to win money. We want to give out the money, but nobody's, you know, dropping their prediction.
Okay, you can go ahead and predict 5 games, 5 games correctly, and that's to be dropped in the comment section, and it's ready-made. The money is on ground, so keep predicting. Okay. When you win, you get your money. All right, that's all we can take on the show today. We're going to say a big thank you to everyone that joined us, and we hope for the very best for Nigerian sport as we celebrate Nigeria's independence. October 1st, 65 years down the line, we hope for the very best in Nigerian sport to be on the global stage. I am Paul Abetoluwanimi. Samson Balogun, thank you so much for joining us. All right, we're always twinning, so I think it's good to go. It's good to go. All right, thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Bye for now.